Well, countless reports are coming out about child and teen rates of suicide, and most come to the same conclusion. Instances of suicide among children and teenagers is soaring, and the trend does not seem to be slowing. For more on how to spot the signs in young people close to you and how to have difficult conversations with them, we're joined live on the KCBS Ring Central Newsline now by Leigh Richardson, founder and clinical director of the Brain Performance Center. Thank you so much for joining us. Is there any one thing we can point to as the reason that suicide rates may be spiking right now?
Well, I think the one thing that we all want to point to is COVID. And I think that's a myth. The problem has existed for a long time. It was there. Now, did COVID make it worse? Absolutely. But if you look at, self-inflicted injuries, they've been on a drastic increase since 2009 for children and adolescents. So the problem has always been there, and I think that what we have to do is really open our eyes and become more aware of the fact that, these are mental health issues, and these are just as significant as any physical health issues.
Yeah, exactly. So are the numbers being driven by any certain group of teenagers? Are we talking about more girls here?
Well, it doesn't matter how you look at it. I mean, a lot of the LGBTQ teens, those numbers have really grown a lot, but it's the same across categories. It's the sadness, the hopelessness that's increased for every race, for straight teens, gay teens. I mean, for students in each year of high school, and it's teenagers in all 50 states. So you can't. It's impacting everybody.
And, the proliferation of news and all of the information we have on social media has been blamed for making people more depressed in general. Do you recommend, trying to limit that? Do you think that plays a role, or is that kind of hopeless when teens have, a phone?
Well, absolutely. I think there has to be balance in social media. And they've done a lot of studies trying to determine what the impact of social media is. And it's now there they have found that it definitely impacts girls in the ages of 11 to 13 more, and boys in the ages of 14 and 15. But it's interesting, the studies have also found that at age 19, both girls and boys are impacted by it. And I think my problem with social media is that it's made us a comparative society. I mean, we look on social media and what are we comparing? Are we comparing the dress that I'm wearing? Are we comparing the vacation my family went to? Or the car you're driving? And anytime you compare, you're almost force a winner and a loser.
Right. And young girls are especially susceptible of that as they're growing up in the world, susceptible to that.
Absolutely.
And so how can we talk to our kids? Is it just about keeping the line of communication open versus what we say necessarily, or what can our techniques be?
Well, I think that we have, one of our techniques needs to be the power of observation. Pay attention to what's going on with your kids. Have their sleep habits changed? Are they sleeping all the time now, or are they not sleeping at all? Has their diet changed? Are they not eating, or are they eating a lot of sugar? Are they isolating themselves? The things that they used to love to do, walking the dog, have they quit doing that? So I think one thing that I really encourage my clients is pay attention to what's going on with your kids. And if you notice something that seems a little bit out of character or different, ask them about it. Gee, why don't you like to walk the dog anymore? Because keeping those channels of communication open, and when all kids know that you're paying attention and that you notice what's going on with them, they respond to that.
Yeah, so true. Important advice. Thank you so much. Leigh Richardson, founder and clinical director of the Brain Performance Center.